The camera glides silently through a vast and breathtaking expanse, a monumental galactic chamber bathed in the soft glow of deep blues and purples. The walls, made of smooth crystalline material, shimmer with an almost ethereal quality, as if the chamber itself pulses with ancient energy. Above, luminous panels cast their glow, illuminating the towering figures of alien dignitaries who fill the chamber, their eyes glowing with an unnatural intensity. At the far end of the room, High Commissioner Draken Velour stands, his towering figure draped in ceremonial robes that ripple with an elegance unmatched by any human design. His iridescent scales shimmer with the ambient light, shifting from hues of silver to sapphire, each movement of his body reflecting the majesty of his species. His gaze, cold and calculating, falls upon the human delegates, small and fragile in their cumbersome environmental suits, struggling to breathe in the atmosphere that feels so alien to their kind. Beneath him, the humans appear almost insect-like in their clunky suits, their movements slow and labored, a stark contrast to the grace of the Valorians surrounding them. A deep silence fills the chamber as Velour's voice rings out, smooth and venomous, each word carefully crafted to tear down the fragile pride of the human delegation. "Tell me," he taunts, his gaze sweeping over the humans. "What makes you think your species deserves a seat at this table? You can barely survive in our atmosphere, let alone comprehend the scope of our existence." His words hang in the air like a heavy cloud, his laughter almost audible in the unspoken weight of his contempt. The Valorian dignitaries, their bodies glowing with bioluminescent patterns that pulse rhythmically with amusement, begin to laugh. The sound is strange, melodic yet unsettling, as if the very laughter itself is an affront to the human's presence. Some of the Valorians flare their neck frills, exaggerated displays of superiority, as if to further mock the humans for daring to stand in their midst. Yet amidst this sea of ridicule, Ambassador Roland Martinez stands, unbowed. His spine is straight, his face unwavering, though the servos in his environmental suit creak slightly under the pressure. His voice, though calm, carries a weight that forces even the Valorians to pause. "We have achieved faster-than-light travel in less than 3 centuries since discovering electricity. Your dominion has existed for millennia, but we are closing the gap, and the day will come when you must look upon us as equals." The chamber holds its breath. A thick tension coils through the air, palpable and electric, as Velour's laughter dies, replaced by an almost palpable coldness. The Valorian dignitaries, once mocking and dismissive, now exchange subtle glances, their superior postures unwavering, yet slightly more guarded. The High Commissioner shifts, the movement smooth and imperceptible, before he speaks again, his voice dismissive, as if erasing the human challenge from existence. "You may remain as a protectorate species, if you must. Perhaps in a few thousand years we might reconsider, but until then..." Velour's eyes narrow, a glint of icy finality in his gaze. "Enjoy your place beneath us. The stars were never meant for you to claim." The human delegation turns in silence, their environmental suits whistling with every strained breath. The sounds of their departure echo in the vast, empty chamber, the mechanical noises of their suits a stark reminder of their fragility in the face of the ancient power that surrounds them. As the doors close behind them, their pride bruised but their resolve unshaken, Velour watches them, his eyes briefly flickering with something other than amusement, something unreadable, a fleeting recognition of the quiet determination that lingers even in the face of humiliation 3 months later. Maya Blackwood led a research team deep into an ancient Valorian temple on Proxima Centauri b. The camera follows Maya as she carefully moves through the cold stone interior, her helmet's light casting eerie reflections on the intricate symbols etched into the walls. The temple is suffused with an overwhelming silence, each step she takes echoing softly in the vast, empty space. The air is thick with tension, as if the very walls of the temple hold secrets buried for millennia, waiting to be uncovered. Maya's gaze is locked onto the glowing symbols before her, and she feels an undeniable pull, a connection to something far older, far more profound than she could have imagined. As she scans the markings, they seem to pulse with a life of their own, and Maya's breath catches in her throat. Her fingers tremble as they hover over the ancient symbols, tracing their curves with careful precision. The realization strikes her like a thunderclap. These markings are unlike anything she's ever seen before. She whispers into her comms, her voice tight with disbelief. "Nathan, this doesn't match any known Valorian script. There's something different here." Nathan's voice crackles back through the comms, surprise clear in his tone. "What's it matching with, Maya?" Maya's eyes widen, her heart racing as she makes the impossible connection. "Sanskrit and Latin. This can't be real." The camera zooms in on Maya's trembling fingers as they trace the glowing symbols, their intricate lines seeming to shimmer under her touch. A sense of awe and dread washes over her. Her breath comes in shallow gasps as she takes another scan, only to be met with even more astonishing data. The symbols, she realizes, are much older than she could have imagined, over 70,000 years old. This timeline doesn't fit. It contradicts everything she's been taught. Sentinel Kraz, one of the Valorian guards, steps forward with a mocking tone in his voice. "Your equipment is malfunctioning, human. These are the ruins of our ancestors, not your primitive history." Maya doesn't even glance at him. Her eyes remain fixed on the symbols before her, as if they are speaking directly to her. She can feel the weight of her discovery pressing down on her chest. She scans the symbols once more, her heart pounding as she reads the results. This predates the Valorian Dominion. It's connected to something, someone else. The air around her grows thicker, and the guards begin to move closer, sensing that something monumental has been uncovered. Maya knows what she has found, a truth that could shatter everything the Valorians have ever claimed. Her fingers fly over her suit's interface, quickly backing up the data and sending it off to Earth for further analysis. A cold, determined calm settles over her as she watches the symbols glow brighter in the dim light of the temple. She's found something far greater than she could have ever expected. As the guards close in, Maya's heart beats faster, knowing she has just uncovered the first piece of a puzzle that could alter the course of history forever. The temple, silent and dormant for millennia, now feels alive with the secret it has been hiding, and Maya is the first to unlock it. Maya is escorted off the planet, her every step heavy under the silent watch of the Valorian guards, their presence as imposing as the shadows they cast in the dim, foreboding light. The tension in the air is thick, the hum of the atmosphere outside the temple's walls a constant reminder that they are not just escorting her, they are containing her. Their eyes, glowing faintly in the low light, never leave her. Each guard a silent sentinel to her every movement. Maya feels the weight of their gaze, but her mind races with the discovery she's made, the discovery they'll do anything to keep buried. She knows the truth now. The truth that could shake the foundation of the Valorian Dominion. Her heart beats fast, but she keeps her expression neutral as they march her team toward the transport. As she walks, she whispers urgently into her comms, her voice low but filled with conviction. "We've got something they can't ignore. We need to dig deeper, cross-reference every Valorian site documented by humans. This changes everything. They won't stop looking, but we need to find the truth before they hide it again. Her words are sharp, filled with a determination she can barely contain. On the other end of the line, Nathan's voice crackles back, calm yet laced with urgency. I'm running the analysis now. Hold tight, Maya. We'll find something they can't explain away. The scene shifts to Velour Prime, where the Valorian archives, deep within the heart of their empire, stand as a monument to their ancient power. Inside the archives, Professor Thex Nuru is hunched over a glowing console, his brow furrowed with a mixture of disbelief and growing anxiety. The data streaming across the holographic screens in front of him sends ripples of unease through his body, his scales shifting between shades of green and gray. He can hardly believe what he's seeing. The script Maya uncovered matches their ancient texts, but the patterns, the quantum resonance patterns, they're identical. This can't be true, he mutters under his breath, unable to fully process the magnitude of the discovery. His voice shakes as he turns to the others in the room, the members of the Cultural Preservation Committee, who stand in the shadows, watching him with cold, calculating eyes. The quantum resonance, it's identical. These humans, they've found something we've been hiding for millennia. TUS Director Torin, a figure draped in the full regalia of Valorian authority, steps forward, his scales flashing a deep purple in his anger. His voice rings out, sharp and outraged, filling the room with the intensity of his fury. You're suggesting the humans found our past? That they uncovered the foundation of our entire civilization? This could unravel everything. The High Council will never accept this. We must suppress this discovery. We must destroy it before it spreads. His words hang heavy in the air, and the room seems to grow colder with the threat of what might come next. But then Karen Velour, the High Commissioner's daughter, steps forward, her presence commanding attention. Her scales shimmer with quiet strength, each movement deliberate, her face set with a determined resolve. The room grows still as she speaks, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. It's time for change, Torin. This isn't just about humanity anymore. This is about our shared history. The Valorians and humans, our ancestors left us a legacy we've ignored for millennia. We cannot silence the truth any longer. Her words are not just a challenge to Torin, but a call to action. She knows the risk, but she also understands the significance of what Maya has uncovered. The truth, once hidden, now threatens to bring their world crashing down, and Karen knows it's a truth that cannot be buried any longer. As the camera lingers on Karen's face, the quiet authority in her eyes speaks volumes. The room is filled with a tense silence, the weight of her words settling heavily in the air. The Valorians have controlled their history for centuries, but now, with the humans on the brink of discovering the truth, that control is slipping through their fingers. The decision is no longer about whether to stop the humans. It's about whether to accept what they've uncovered or continue hiding in the shadows of their past. The camera pulls back slowly, lingering on the uneasy faces of those who have long held the power, as they realize that the future of their civilization is about to change forever. The Galactic Council chamber is thick with tension, a weight in the air that seems to press down on every soul within it. The vast space, filled with towering crystalline pillars, is bathed in an eerie, otherworldly glow, casting shadows that stretch long across the room. High Commissioner Velour stands at the far end, his massive form nearly swallowed by the grandeur around him. His face remains unreadable, but his eyes, fixed on Maya, are sharp, observing every movement, every breath. The Valorian dignitaries around the room, standing tall and proud in their bioluminescent robes, are equally still, their gazes locked on the human delegation. The entire room seems to hold its breath, awaiting the next move. Maya steps forward, her heart pounding in her chest, but her movements are steady, her resolve unbroken. She activates the holographic display, and as the ancient symbols flare to life before her, the air seems to hum with a power beyond the technology that created it. The symbols pulse with energy, glowing with a faint light, almost alive in their own right, as though they are whispering secrets to anyone who is listening. Maya stands tall, her voice steady as she speaks, breaking the silence that has settled over the room. "What we found isn't just writing," she says, her words cutting through the tension. "It's a message left for future generations. This script, it's the link between your ancient culture and ours. The symbols on the display shift and shimmer, their resonance reverberating in the air. The Valorians stand frozen, their expressions shifting from skepticism to disbelief as they take in the significance of what Maya has uncovered. Some of them narrow their eyes, unable to fathom the implications, while others stare, mouths slightly agape, struggling to accept the reality of what is before them. The room feels charged, the air thick with the energy of revelation. Ambassador Chen steps forward, her voice calm but firm, cutting through the growing chaos. "This isn't a trick," she states with quiet confidence. "Look at the genetic analysis. The quantum harmonics align with both species' genetic codes. This is proof. We are connected. We always have been." The room erupts into murmurs of disbelief and confusion, the Valorians struggling to process the truth that is now unfolding before them. The younger Valorians, their eyes wide with awe, begin to speak in hushed tones, their voices rising together in an ancient chant, the language of their people that had been thought lost for eons. As their words fill the air, the tension in the room shifts. The scales of the Valorians around them shimmer, glowing with an intensity that matches the rising chant, the once dormant power of their culture stirring to life once again. The room is filled with the sound of the ancient language, and the truth becomes undeniable. The power of their ancestors, the shared history between the Valorians and humans, is too much to ignore. The Valorians' long-held belief in their superiority begins to crumble, and for the first time, they see the truth that Maya has uncovered. They are not alone in the stars, and their history is far more intertwined with humanity's than they could have ever imagined. The room is filled with a profound silence as the realization takes hold, and the air hums with the sound of an ancient truth finally being set free. The truth is no longer a whisper. It is a roar, and it is impossible to deny. The Valorian elite, led by Torin, stood firm in the center of the chamber, their presence commanding, their power emanating from every movement. The tension was palpable, thick in the air as they prepared to suppress the truth with force. Torin, his scales flashing a dark shade of purple, stepped forward, his voice cutting through the mounting chaos with authority. "This must end now," he declared, his words sharp, filled with the weight of centuries of control. "The truth is dangerous. It cannot spread any further." His hand rested on the hilt of his ceremonial blade, ready to strike if necessary. But his words felt like the first tremors of a crumbling empire. Yet, as he spoke, something unexpected happened. The younger Valorians, those who had been watching in silence, began to move. Their voices rose softly at first, murmurs of dissent, but as they gathered strength, their ancient language filled the room, the echoes reverberating off the crystal walls. Their scales, once dim with uncertainty, now shimmered brightly with newfound power. Each word they chanted bringing them closer to the truth they had long been denied. The older generation, once so certain of their superiority, stood frozen, unsure how to react as the room began to shift. Maya stood at the heart of the chaos, unwavering. She locked eyes with Velour, her voice steady and full of resolve. "You cannot erase what's been revealed," she said, each word carrying the weight of history itself. "This is our shared history. It's time to face the truth." Her words hung in the air, reverberating with the undeniable power of what had been uncovered. Then, Karen Velour, the High Commissioner's daughter, stepped forward, her eyes burning with determination. Her scales flickered with the intensity of the ancient power now awakening within her. "We were never alone," she said, her voice strong and proud, her gaze unwavering. "Our ancestors set the stage for this moment. The Valorians and humans, cousins, not conquerors. This is only the beginning." As she spoke, the chanting grew louder, the rhythm syncing with the pulse of the chamber itself, and the crystalline walls responded in kind, glowing with the energy of a truth long hidden. The Valorian elite stood in stunned silence, their weapons lowering, their sense of superiority crumbling as the unity of the younger generation filled the room with a new, undeniable power. The very foundation of the Valorian dominion was shaking, and the truth was no longer something to be suppressed. It was something that had to be embraced. The room vibrated with the force of ancient knowledge, and in that moment, the Valorians and humans stood not as enemies, but as two peoples bound by a shared past, their future now intertwined in a way neither had ever imagined. 3 weeks later, Velour Prime is alive with energy, its once quiet streets now teeming with activity as humans and Valorians work side by side, their efforts blending technology and tradition in new and exciting ways. The city is a canvas of transformation, with machines humbling in harmony with quantum technologies, and architects from both species collaborating, their designs fusing Valorian precision with human innovation. As the city pulses with progress, the air hums with the promise of a new era, where the ancient wisdom of the Valorians and the creativity of humanity converge. In the streets, humans and Valorians wear matching outfits adorned with bioluminescent patterns that reflect the shared history of both species, each glowing with a gentle light, a perfect blend of their cultures. It is a visual testament to the unity they are building, the intertwined paths of their ancestors now joined in purpose. On a balcony overlooking the bustling city, Karen and Maya stand together, watching the world change before their eyes. The skyline is illuminated by the soft glow of new technologies, buildings that embody the fusion of both species' strengths. The sound of voices, human and Valorian alike, fills the air with an unmistakable sense of harmony, the city vibrating with the collective energy of a species no longer divided. Maya smiles at Karen, her voice full of admiration. "You've been at the forefront of this change, but it's only the beginning. We're just scratching the surface of what we can accomplish together." Karen's smile deepens, the pride in her eyes unmistakable as she takes in the view. "The greatest irony," she says, her tone full of quiet pride, "is that our greatest gift, the ability to unite, was always there, waiting for us to see it. This isn't the end. It's the dawn of a new age." Below them, the city continues to hum, filled with the energy of a future that is no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality. One where the once separated worlds of humans and Valorians are now woven together. The camera pulls back, rising above the city to reveal the shimmering night sky, alive with the vibrant colors of the quantum aurora. The lights ripple across the heavens, reflecting the energy of this new era, a visual manifestation of a united future that is just beginning.